Hey guys, so we're here today with Barry Summerhayes, who's been kind enough to let us back into his collection to show off a little bit more. I know some of you guys enjoyed the previous little bit we did. We've made sure we've turned off the fan this time because last time
we're all sweaty.
Yeah, we're all dying here. But hopefully you enjoyed the videos. It'll be multiple parts, so bear with.
So this is the Magenta gene. It was brought into the country about 5-6 years ago by James Blackburn. He used to work with Ray Hines. I've got a trio of these. I've got this big girl and another girl and a male. I thought at the time they looked a bit sort of het-red xanthic. You've got the red blurs in here. You got the
this stuff.
This particularly.
All that kind of stuff.
This is why they ended up being called the Magenta, because they got this lovely reddy mahogany hue, and obviously mahogany was already taken. I wasn't really sure what to do with them because I thought they looked a bit het-red xanthic. The first thing I did was put a black pastel in there.
Make these gargoyles.
I wanted to make onyx.
Oh yes, black pastel, yes.
Onyx is one of my favourite genes, so I thought, well, you know, if I'm going to make some onyx, then that will be fine. Now, what I didn't do with the Magenta to start with, which was a mistake, I never went for the super to start with. I never put clown or pied in it, so I initially put the black pastel in there, and I'll show you what that made. She's gonna bite something.
Oh, she was looking at me. She was giving me that look. She was giving me the look of, I'm gonna do you one. I'm gonna get one of you.
She's the one that's done me in the face. So this was the result of black pastel to magenta. So you've got quite a dark looking snake. Quite I don't know. It's got attributes of both. He's got the magenta across the back. He's got the lovely mahogany sort of coloured blushing, but then it's also got it's got an overall look of black pastel.
Well, especially towards the tail, yeah.
Yeah, the alien heads are just completely destroyed towards the back.
And then he's like you said about the magenta blushing, you've got like a massive piece here.
Yeah. So these were quite a nice surprise. They're beautiful animals. I've got two of these girls out. They're at the moment this girl's been actually ouch. No, she just caught a tooth on her finger. So this girl has actually been mated to the original male magenta, so I'm going to go for the super magentas to see if that exists or not. But the interesting thing with this clutch was we also got a normal magenta out, which is, I guess, what we'd call an F1, and it's very, very different from mum. So
okay,
I'll go and get her. I'll pop this one away. You hate this,
huh? Banging up the table.
Behind you, Jamie.
Where are we looking?
About face level.
Female magenta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. So let's get happy out of it.
Oh yeah, you can see.
The other one's less aggressive. Oh, she just tried to bite me straight away. Okay. So this is Auntie. This is the other magenta female that I've got. She produced some het clown stuff for me last year, which I'll show you shortly. But this was the original magenta. So this is an F1. So this is the original one from the jungle. And this is basically what it produced. There's no pastel involved in this. So basically this girl came from a black pastel to a magenta.
And that is a really bright animal.
She is, and she actually is getting brighter and brighter as she's developing.
And it's like the actual coloration is really bright, but the darks are dark.
They are.
It's getting that fade in there as well.
I like this animal. I can't wait for her to be big enough to get her going. Basically, yeah. And again, probably back to Dad. I'm kind of doing it the wrong way around. I should have done supers first, really, or tried for supers. But what I did last year, I put a yellow belly pastel clown into a magenta, into this one, and I'll show you what they look like. God, it's weighs a ton.
I'm just thinking about yellow belly and the het clown influence. I don't know what animal's about to bring out next. This is as new to me as whoever's going to be watching this, because I fucking
Right, so these two are. It was quite interesting. I think everything in the clutch came out magenta. So although I haven't proven there's a super or anything yet, everything is magenta. So these guys I just thought were normal het clowns.
Okay.
And a bit similar to the one I just showed you, the F1 that I showed you. They're developing the colour. Each time they shed, they're getting more and more of the magenta look. So
What's that one's head?
it's
So it almost seems like a gene that enhances
getting a little-
with age.
The other ones
yeah,
had a little light
definitely.
spot on their head as well.
It's one of the few genes that I think is getting brighter and brighter as they grow. And I'll show you the pastel possible yellow bellies in a minute, and they're really bright. So these are the het clown version. So
you do have obviously you have the het clown influence here, which is going to brighten slightly. But
I-
as you were
yeah.
saying, they seem to be brightening every time.
I'm pretty sure the magenta's an enhancer.
Another an enhancing gene, because
Yeah.
it does.
It does look really yellow.
Yeah, and if it's starting off normal looking, and that one might tag my arm, but it's all right. If it starts off normal looking, but then continues to brighten like this as it ages,
Yeah.
then it is just going to be it's going to be a nice enhancing gene. I mean,
Yeah,
some
and
serious
obviously
potential.
you'll see in a minute when I show you the other four that there's no pastel involved in this. So this colour that looks a bit pastelified is the magenta. It is a bit misleading because I called it a magenta, but you know we've still got the red running through all the darkness in there.
See that blushing?
As I say, it was a really unusual clutch. All of them turned out. I think they're all magentas, but obviously time will tell once they're adult.
and once we can actually reproduce a super.
Yeah, well, if there's
If
one.
there's a super, because it could be that if it isn't, that the parent might have had, or might be the homozygous form, right?
Well, both the black pastel magentas that I've got have both been put back to dad this year, which sounds terrible, but
I know.
Game of Thrones style.
Yes, Game of Thrones, but by the way, that's completely normal with snakes. It's completely normal. Inbreeding is typical.
So I'll put these guys back, then I'll show you some that have got the pastel and the yellow belly as well.
Awesome.
Yes.
It's completely normal. Look at the other guy. Y'all breeding. Y'all interbreeding these snakes.
Inbreeding.
Yeah, it happens. It's everyone.
Mills calls it.
Right, I see some yellow. Oh my.
Oh my.
That one.
So these guys are pastel magentas,
They're not het clown.
100%
They
hectare.
are.
But also, Dad's also yellow belly. But I've struggled to really sort of recognise whether these guys have got the yellow belly in them or not, because of how bright they are anyway.
And I'm looking at the flaming, and
Trying to find that
I'd probably
blush.
edge on the side of not, because the flaming does have colour, but it hasn't really got. I mean, this one's got quite a lot of flaming in this one.
It's a new gene, really. So until
know, it's
we breed a
reacting
couple of these guys, these are the two. These are the two boys that I got out, and you can clearly see the magenta, the blushing, and everything in this. You know, they're clearly not just normal pastels het clown.
No, I mean,
And I'm really chuffed with how they came out.
No.
They've also got that funny U-shaped
That
thing.
Y on the back.
Yeah, they've all got that on the back of their head as well.
interestingly, didn't you say one of the pastel girls we got from you tends to?
The big one.
Has to pass on that Y.
She does, yeah. I'm sure there's something genetic in that, but I never really explored it. But all of these guys have got it as well.
Will be interesting because she's the one bred to what we're still calling Mojave Dinka.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That unknown little creature that there are so many theories on out there, and hopefully he'll
I'll be
prove
so
out.
glad when that thing proves something.
Oh my god, it will just be nice to know what he is.
Finally, you know.
But these guys, these two, I think, if I've got any sort of het clown stuff that hasn't been mated yet, I don't think it'll be particularly long before these guys will come into play. And
Oh, certainly. And I mean, there's definitely something going on more than, even if they are yellow belly.
Let me-
Even compared to a pastel yellow belly.
let me show you
Oh,
the
look how
girls.
rich the black is as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, there is a slight difference between these two, right? I think this one's got the
tail.
much more intense blackness to it. This one's a bit lighter. But neither of them, I would say, are just pastel het clowns. I've got loads of pastel het clowns in the shed, and these are far brighter. But that again could be. I mean, this one, I think I'm leaning more towards yellow belly on this one because how much brighter it is than than the other one. But let me show you the girls, and you can see what that looks like. As you can see, I've kept the whole clutch.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you?
So that would be stupid not to. So these are the girls. And again, there is a difference. I mean, you know, you will take them piss out of me because of my colour blindness, but I can see the difference in the colour between this one and that
Well,
one. That
actually,
one's
this one's
definitely-
much richer,
Yeah,
much
definitely.
more intense coloration. That one is more faded almost.
And then Chris and Elias, a couple of guys that come to my shed quite regularly, they think because of the colour blindness, I tend to go for high contrast stuff that's got the high contrast, and I can really see the difference between these two. I don't know whether that would be apparent to a normal.
That's a lot lighter.
Yeah, you're colourblind as well, aren't you?
Yeah, so we're sharing it. This time we've got Jay. We've got two eyes that are normal colour vision,
Yeah.
which probably see less, and then we've got the two.
But is there not an obvious division between those two animals?
There is clear. As soon as you brought her in,
Yellows in
Yeah.
this.
I mean the yellows are richer. You've also got this sort of like, what is it? Pixelation. This sort of greenish pixelation.
It's dirtiness.
And when you look at the blacks, I mean the blacks in this one are so much more intense than the one there, and the overall color here is almost like someone turned up the saturation.
So it looks like there might be like two pairs of whatever they are. So there's probably one of them's like a magenta yellow belly het clown pair, and then the other pair is magenta pastel. Well, they're all pastel as well.
Yeah, so if we say there might be two that are magenta, pastel, yellow belly, het clown, and then
Yeah.
one the same thing again pair but
Yeah.
without the yellow belly.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm leaning towards the yellow belly with these ones because of how bright they are.
That enriched color.
Yeah, and you know, these guys are not even. They're probably only about 6 months old, and as you can see, they're eating fantastically, and I absolutely can't wait to get them, to produce clowns out of them.
Be interesting to see what it does to the clown.
Yeah, I can't. It's a new gene really, and I don't even know if there's a super yet. So you could
It's
even
that-
produce a super with a clown.
It's that fun thing of
What's
basically
gonna come
you
out.
don't know what's going to come out, and
Yeah, yeah.
I know there's so many dinker projects out there, and you see some people unfortunately who start with what they think are dinkers, and turns out there's nothing much there.
Yeah.
But when you can obviously see there's something going on here,
Yeah.
and it's that excitement of the super and
Well-
and the anticipation almost of
Well, the day I lose that anticipation and that excitement about putting things together.
well,
then
that's where the
it's
hobby
day-
dies, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's what the hobby is. It's the animals, and then it's, well, in terms of the mutations, it's about the excitement of, oh God, what could possibly come out here?
It's what keeps me going in this hobby. I absolutely love the genetic side of things, and there's other genes. I was going to show you the time bomb today, but they're a lot of them are in shed, and there's quite a few genes I'm working with in the shed that just haven't been seen yet.
So we're thinking it's obviously not recessive, so we're thinking it's possibly codon or dominant.
Yes,
Or incomplete
definitely,
dominant or
definitely. It's definitely dominant because I've produced, I've reproduced.
In the first generation.
Yeah, the F1s.
If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about in terms of dominance, check out the genetics series. I'll put a link somewhere.
Get his little plug in.
Yeah. I put a lot of time.
Forgot what I was going to say now. But it's I love reproduce. I like making stuff that I know I can make, but with this stuff it's unknown. I mean, there could be a super, there might not be a super. I don't know yet. And it's my fault that, to be honest with you, I mean, I've had these animals 5 years, and it's only this year I've tried for the super. I kind of did it the wrong way around. But there's also magentas, heppides on the way, and some. What else did I do? Some more magenta het clowns that can put these girls away.
Yeah, lively.
It's a bit deep for that tub now, really.
Well, these tubs do make them.
That's like we had to move our champagne entry down last night
Yeah, she was.
back into a 9 litre. She's just weren't going on